Well, hope that you received a payment from the Melbourne Cup winner. Not many of us did, I would guess. The Spring Carnival comes and goes pretty quickly, doesn't it? And we move on now, but we're moving on rather well, aren't we? We here in Victoria. We're recording this on Thursday, and we've had 5 days in a row of no new cases and no deaths. So congratulations to all who have programmed us and helped us to get to those good figures. What will be our immediate future? Well, who knows, but you will know more than I will, because on Sunday we're hoping that the Premier will open up our churches a little bit more, and as I said last week, if we can have 50 on from outside, then we intend, I believe, to have normal time masses on the weekend. That'll be the Saturday night 5:30, the 8:30 and the 10 a.m. We're waiting until we'll see what happens before we go back to Holy Cross as yet, but the Liturgy Committee, your Liturgy Committee, will be meeting next Wednesday. Check our website, stkevinsparish.org.au, and also please, the answering machine will have more details also, 9850 5983. But I want to tell you about a priest who was very worried about the state of the roof of the church. It was looking quite seriously damaged, and he was very worried because there just wasn't the finances to cope with a renewed building for the roof. So he appealed to the congregation and he said, look, if we can possibly afford it, we'll have a special collection today and we'll be able to fix up the roof before it gets too much damage. And as a possible incentive, the person who gives the most money today will be able to choose 3 hymns. As the money was brought forward, the priest had a little look, and to his delight he saw that one person had given $1,000. Oh, he was thrilled, and he said, who has been so generous? Who in the congregation? And a little old lady at the back nervously put up her hand and said, it was me, Father. And he said, come forward so you can receive your prize. She hesitated, but she waddled up to the front, and he said, now choose your 3 hymns. And she said, I'll have him and him and him. Now, that's another gospel story, isn't it, of a wise virgin. And I wonder if the gospel story is not the first story of many, many stories of oil crises in the Middle East. Seriously, once again, we have a parable from Jesus about his favourite topic, the reign of God. And there is, as usual, a bit of an uncomfortable touch to the parable, isn't it? I don't really understand why the wise virgins couldn't give a bit of their oil to those foolish ones and everybody be happy. And there's another bit of an unreal touch for me. The bridegroom was late, not the bride. That's not our experience, I don't think, at modern weddings, is it? Scripture scholar Brendan Byrne explains things a little better for us when he says that it was a custom in Jesus' day that young women would wait at the home of the bride, and then when they saw the bridegroom coming, they would go out to meet him with blazing torches and then accompany both the bride and the groom to the bridegroom's home for the wedding. What's the parable about? What's the lessons that we learn? Well, I can't get much beyond the fairly obvious, that planning and planning wisely is very important. think about a decision that you have to make, a difficult conversation you might have with someone. Might be going for a job and you think, well, now if they ask this, I will answer that. What if they do this? What questions do I have, etc., etc. And if you've got a difficult conversation with someone, you plan it in your mind. You say, oh, now I must make sure that I use I language and I don't get carried away emotionally, etc., etc. Don't know about your experience, but it often seems to happen most times for me that, oh yeah, it works out really well, slightly differently from what I'd planned, but the next time I still plan anxiously, not quite learning. But nevertheless, notwithstanding, it is better, folks, isn't it, to plan and to be ready. For although things might turn out slightly differently, proper preparation does prevent poor performance. Thank you, Dick Barnfield, for those 6 Ps. So, amongst the lessons from today's readings is the undeniable one that it does pay to prepare, and in particular to try to be ready for change and for the unexpected. Yet these last months, or these last 9 months in fact, aren't they, or 8 or 9 months, COVID pandemic experience is a collective reminder for each of us that there are just some situations for which we cannot be prepared. Yet, if we have a foundation of strength, and I think that's what the oil in the lamps symbol is, if we have a symbol, a foundation of good works, then we can be confident that we are much better placed to survive. And let's indeed, as we reflect on these last months, how we have collectively helped each other to survive through the COVID-19. It may continue to rage throughout the world, but we look forward to coming together in a weekend or two's time, don't we? What can you do to prepare yourself now to move into full active participation in the Eucharist? Well, one suggestion that we've had regularly for you in our weekly nourishment, and in particular the newsletter, is to think about things for which you give thanks. So have you had a habit of writing down or thinking about, reflecting on at the end of each day, what are 1, 2 or more things for which I give thanks? They don't have to be huge matters, but just what am I giving thanks for today? If you haven't made that a habit, may I suggest that you start today. I wish to give thanks today for those people who have helped me prepare and present to you this weekly nourishment and our newsletter. In particular, I'm thinking of Nadia and Rebecca and Jan, and of course Vianney, who has come here week after week after week and filmed this ugly face. So special thanks to each one of those. Thank you.